Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine that the single most crucial tool Homo sapiens ever invented wasn't, fire or the wheel,
Huh?
but something that you can't actually touch, something that doesn't physically exist at all.
Something entirely made up.
Yeah,
And that's what we're diving into today, these shared fictions.
right.
Our mission really is to explore these fundamental structures that let millions, even billions of strangers cooperate. People like you and me, people across whole continents who've never met.
How does that work?
Well, we need to look back at the biological limits our ancestors faced, way back.
Yeah.
Then there was this mental breakthrough.
Cognitive revolution.
Exactly. That shattered those limits. And then you get these huge systems, like corporations, money, built entirely on people just believing in them together.
And to get that, we have to start maybe uncomfortably with biology, where we fit in.
Yeah, a dose of humility helps. We are fundamentally great apes. Chimpanzees are our closest living relatives. That's the bedrock. Go back maybe 6 million years, and there's a single female ape. Her descendants split. One line leads to chimps, the other to us.
So we share a lot. Physical stuff, social instincts.
Loads. But the key difference, the thing that changed everything, is how we manage cooperation once our groups got, well, too big for those basic instincts.
Okay, so what were those limits? What does chimp society show us?
It shows you the intimate scale needed. Their whole social world runs on deep personal knowledge of everyone in the group.
Constantly reinforcing it.
Yeah, constant contact, hugging, grooming, doing favors, knowing the pecking order inside out. It's all about who you know personally.
Right.
And it's a network built on that daily mutual accountability. Researchers see it when chimp troops get bigger than, say, 20, maybe 50 individuals. The whole thing tends to destabilize. It can get pretty messy, even violent. They just can't keep track of everyone, can't maintain the trust or the hierarchy.
And the thinking is, our archaic ancestors, early Homo sapiens, were probably stuck in that same loop.
Very likely. We had similar sort of social software built for these small, tight-knit groups.
So even if a place could physically support more people.
Exactly. You might have a valley perfect for 500 people, but those 500 couldn't actually cooperate effectively. They couldn't agree on a leader or coordinate a big hunt or settle disputes without just splitting into smaller bands again.
And that's the gossip limit idea.
That's it. Sociological research points to this number, around 150.
Yeah.
That seems to be the maximum group size you can hold together purely through intimate acquaintance.
Knowing everyone well enough to gossip about them, basically. To know if they're reliable.
Precisely. And you still see echoes of it. You know, small army units, startup companies, they often hit a wall around that size if they don't bring in formal structures.
Formal ranks, rule books.
Organizational charts, yeah. All that stuff that replaces personal knowledge.
Okay, so 150 was the natural ceiling for cooperation based on just reality. Knowing people. How did we smash that ceiling to build cities with millions? Did our brains fundamentally change?
Not really the basic hardware, no. We found a cheat code.
A cheat code?
Yeah, the cognitive revolution. Around 70,000 years ago, it gave sapiens this incredible superpower. The ability to talk about things that aren't real. Fictions.
So before that, language was just practical, look out, lion kind of thing.
Pretty much. Useful for immediate, tangible stuff. Lots of animals can warn each other about danger.
But after this revolution...
Suddenly, Homo sapiens could say something completely different. Not just, careful, a lion, but the lion is the sacred guardian spirit of our tribe.
Wow. Okay.
And it demands we all work together to build this temple or whatever.
Yeah.
That ability to collectively imagine things, that's the unique bit.
You can't bargain with an animal using abstract promises.
Exactly. Try convincing a monkey to give you its banana by promising infinite bananas in monkey heaven.
It's not going to work.
It won't work because the monkey can't imagine heaven or infinite bananas as a shared reality. But humans, we can invest massive belief in things that don't exist. Gods, nations, money, corporations.
And that lets us work together on a huge scale.
Towards common, often long-term goals. That shared fiction, that's what blew the 150-person limit wide open. Forever.
That's a massive shift. Okay, fast forward. 70,000 years or so. How does that ancient knack for imagining things show up today? Let's talk corporations, the limited liability company.
Oh, it's a perfect example. It's what lawyers literally call a legal fiction.
Right.
And to really get it, you need the contrast.
Yeah.
Think about Jean the wagon maker back in 13th century France.
Okay.
If Jean takes out a loan to expand his workshop, he's the business. one and the same. If things go bad, if he defaults.
It's personally on the hook.
Totally. His house, his tools, his animals gone. Historically, even his kids could be sold into servitude to cover the debt.
Wow. So that puts a real damper on taking big risks, right? You wouldn't gamble everything you own.
Exactly. It massively limits ambition. You only risk what you can personally afford to lose.
Then along comes this invention, the corporate entity.
All right. So 1896, Armand Peugeot starts Peugeot SA. Now, if the company, Peugeot SA, takes out huge loans, builds massive factories, tries some wild new engine design, and it all goes bankrupt. Armand Peugeot, the actual human being,
He's okay.
he doesn't owe a single franc personally. The company, this legal fiction, takes the hit. It absorbs the risk.
That's incredible. And the company itself can outlive the person.
That's the mind-bending part. Armand Peugeot died back in 1915, Peugeot SA. Still going strong today. It's like it's immortal, separate from any actual human.
So how do you, create one of these things, this powerful, non-physical entity?
Well, the source material draws this amazing parallel. Think about Catholic priests and the Eucharist.
Okay.
By following the exact ritual, saying the specific words, hoc est corpus meum, this is my body, they perform this ceremony.
That believers accept transforms bread and wine into the body of Christ?
It's a transformation enacted through ritual and collective belief.
Wait, are you saying setting up a multinational corporation is basically like a magic spell, just, secularized?
In a functional sense, yeah. A lawyer, properly certified, follows the precise rituals, the spells and oaths laid out in, say, the French legal code.
Fills out the forms, pays the fees.
Performs the necessary legal ceremony, and boom, a new person exists in the eyes of the law, the corporation.
And its existence depends entirely on everyone else agreeing to play along. Judges, governments, us.
Totally. Agreeing to believe the story the law tells us. It's collective fiction made real through shared rules.
Okay, if corporations are one powerful fiction, money has got to be the ultimate one, right? It crosses borders, cultures.
It's the most universal system of mutual trust we've ever invented, hands down.
Because it doesn't really have intrinsic value. A dollar bill is just paper.
Exactly. Its fundamental quality isn't value, it's that everyone wants it. Why? Because everyone else wants it.
It's pure belief feeding on itself.
Pure universal reciprocity built on a shared story.
And that story, that trust, it's ultimately ideological, isn't it? We trust the dollar because we trust the U.S. government, the Treasury Secretary's signature.
The whole system behind it. And crucially, we trust that other people will keep accepting it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And this universal medium, this translator, lets us convert almost anything into anything else. It connects all our other fictions.
Like how?
Well, you can turn physical strength, brawn, into knowledge, brains. A soldier uses their GI Bill benefits to pay for college.
Okay.
Or, think historically, 15th century prostitutes could literally convert sex into salvation by using their earnings to buy papal indulgences from the church.
Wow. Okay. Money as the great connector.
It translates between all our different collective beliefs.
So these fictions, these imagined orders, they enable incredible cooperation, amazing things. But they're not neutral actors, are they? Let's talk hierarchies.
That's the flip side, the critical downside. These imagined orders that allow mass cooperation. They aren't neutral or fair. They're almost always designed to divide people into groups.
And rank them.
And rank them, yeah. Create hierarchies. Look, anywhere in history, Hammurabi's code explicitly defined superiors, commoners, slaves, different rights, different values.
Or the U.S. in 1776, all that talk of equality.
Beautiful words, but the reality. Immediate hierarchies. Men over women, white people over black people, and Native Americans, rich over poor, built right into the system from day one.
And we like to think we're past that, but are we? These structures just morph, don't they?
They morph and get disguised. We might look back at, say, explicit racial segregation and think, well, that was obviously just a made-up, unnatural system.
Right, clearly wrong.
But then look at the vast wealth hierarchy today. The huge gap between rich neighborhoods and poor schools, the opportunities tied to your parents' income.
That often feels kind of normal, even justified.
To many people in the modern West, yeah, it seems perfectly sensible, maybe even natural or deserved based on merit.
Even though meritocracy itself is another one of these imagined orders.
Absolutely. And the data often tells a different story. Statistically, being born rich is the best predictor of being rich. Being born poor is the best predictor of staying poor.
It's less about individual genius and more about the zip code you started in.
Often, yeah. The fiction successfully masks the structure.
So we create these systems, often unequal ones, and then we justify them by saying they're based on biology or nature, which brings us to that rule of thumb you mentioned. Biology enables, culture forbids. What's that about?
It's a really useful way to think about it. Biology, fundamentally, is pretty tolerant. It allows for a huge range of possibilities.
Like what, for instance?
Well, biology allows for men to be sexually attracted to other men, or for women to be aggressive hunters, or for people to have varied gender expressions. Biology enables a wide spectrum.
But culture steps in.
Culture, through its specific rules, laws, taboos, its fictions, actively chooses to forbid some of those possibilities that biology would happily allow. It draws lines.
And that's where the whole idea of something being unnatural comes from, not from science.
Definitely not from science. Historically, that idea often comes from specific religious theologies, like certain strains of Christianity.
How so?
The idea was that God gave every organ a specific purpose. Using an organ for something other than that divine intended purpose was deemed unnatural.
But evolution doesn't work like that. It doesn't have a purpose.
Evolution has no foresight, no purpose. Things adapt based on current pressures.
Can you give an example of that disconnect?
Sure, think about insect wings. They probably didn't just pop into existence for flight.
No.
One theory is they evolved from small nubs on the backs of flightless insects. Maybe those nubs first helped absorb sunlight, like tiny solar panels, to regulate body temperature.
Ah.
Only later, perhaps coincidentally, did they start providing a bit of lift, eventually leading to flight. The purpose changed.
So the idea of a fixed, original, natural use is kind of meaningless biologically.
Pretty much. Organs and behaviors adapt and get repurposed all the time. So these distinctions we fight over, rich, poor, natural, pure, impure, they have power because we believe them collectively, not because nature dictates them.
Okay, so these imagined orders, these hierarchies, they create stress, they create pressure. What happens when we try to use our smarts, our technology, to make life easier? That gets us to the luxury trap.
Yeah. It's described as one of history's few reliable laws, the luxury trap.
And the core idea is...
It's viciously simple. Luxuries tend to become necessities, and once they're necessities, they create new obligations, new stresses.
We invent things to save time or effort.
But somehow, the net result is usually that life speeds up, gets more demanding.
That feels very familiar. Like email or smartphones, we thought they'd give us more leisure time.
Right. We got all these amazing time-saving devices, computers, email, mobile phones. The promise was a more relaxed, efficient life.
And the reality?
The reality is we just cranked up the treadmill of life to maybe 10 times its old speed. Think back to the era of snail mail.
Yeah.
You wrote a letter, you thought about it, you expected a reply maybe weeks, even a month later.
Slow, considered.
Now, we get dozens, maybe hundreds of emails a day, and there's this expectation, this obligation to reply almost instantly at any hour.
We traded careful thought for constant anxiety.
Pretty much. We're working faster, juggling more, but our days often feel way more agitated and stressful than our ancestors probably did.
Yeah.
We're caught in the trap.
Okay, let's shift to the ultimate obligation, the fact that we die. Modern science seems to be tackling death differently than, say, ancient religions or philosophies.
Fundamentally differently. And it stems from its core operating principle.
Which is?
Ignoramus, which basically means we do not know.
How's that different?
Well, ancient traditions, religions, philosophies usually started from the assumption that all the big answers were already known, revealed by gods or ancient sages or sacred texts. Why are we here? What happens after death? The answers were supposedly already there.
But science starts by saying we don't know.
Exactly. Modern science admits ignorance about the biggest questions. But, and this is key, it uses that admission of ignorance as a starting point to actually gain new power. It develops theories, tests them, and uses the results to create new technologies.
And applying that approach to death means...
It means death starts to look less like some grand, inevitable metaphysical destiny.
And more like...
More like a massive technical problem.
Okay, how so?
People don't just vaguely die of old age. They die because of specific technical failures. Cells stop dividing correctly, organs wear out, arteries clog, infections overwhelm the system, heart failure, cancer, stroke, bubble. These are technical breakdowns.
And the scientific thinking is every technical problem.
So in theory, have a technical solution. Maybe not easy, maybe not soon, but solvable.
And this whole effort to solve death, to defeat aging, that's the Gilgamesh project.
That's the name often given to it, yeah. After the ancient Sumerian king from the epic poem who went on this huge quest for immortality and failed.
Right. But unlike Gilgamesh, modern science is actually making some headway towards something like Amortality.
Yeah, amortality meaning not necessarily immortality in the magical sense, but indefinite life. Living on unless you have a fatal accident or injury.
Yeah.
And the progress is real. It's not just science fiction anymore.
Where do we see that progress?
Well, in labs, for instance, genetic engineers have managed to double the average lifespan of simple organisms like the C. elegans worm.
Why worms?
They're a great model system. Short lifespan, simple genetics. You can study the basic mechanisms of aging quickly and see what interventions work.
So the focus is shifting.
Definitely. Our best scientific minds aren't just accepting old age as inevitable anymore. They're digging deep into the physiological, the genetic, the cellular systems that cause aging and decay, looking for ways to repair or reverse them.
And this attempt to fix the ultimate biological problem, it ties into the idea of the cyborg, right? We're already kind of modifying ourselves.
We're absolutely already bionic, yeah. Think about it. Eyeglasses correct a biological flaw. Pacemakers regulate our hearts. We rely on computers and phones as external memory banks, relieving the load on our brains.
Simple examples, but the principle is there.
And we're right on the verge of becoming true cyborgs, merging technology much more intimately with our organic bodies.
What are some more advanced examples?
Well, there's Jesse Sullivan, the American electrician who lost both his arms. He now has these sophisticated bionic arms.
That he controls with his mind.
Directly through thought, yeah. The nerves that used to go to his arms were rerouted, and sensors pick up those signals. Or retinal prostheses, tiny microchips implanted in the eye that could give partial sight back to some blind people by directly stimulating the optic nerve.
That's incredible.
And the integration is even going beyond just fixing humans. The U.S. military has projects developing cyborg insects.
Cyborg insects, like remote-controlled flies.
Exactly. Implanting chips to steer them, use their senses, or exploiting the natural abilities of animals like sharks, which have amazing electromagnetic sensors far better than ours, by implanting devices to use them for surveillance.
Wow, so we're moving from just augmenting ourselves to potentially controlling and modifying biology on a whole new level.
It seems like it. Wholesale biological modification and control. Hashtag tag outro.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. We started out as these small bands of apes, limited by who we knew personally, limited by gossip.
Right, stuck below that 150 number.
Then we had this cognitive breakthrough, invented shared fictions, gods, nations, laws, money.
These imagined orders that let us cooperate in huge numbers.
Building these massive, complex, often hierarchical global civilizations based entirely on collective belief.
Yeah.
And now we're using science, a system born from admitting we don't know everything, to gain the power to fundamentally mess with our own biology.
To potentially overcome aging, merge with machines, maybe even redesign what it means to be human.
So where does that leave us? What's the big takeaway?
Well, the source materials suggest the future might involve transformations so profound that the word human might not even apply anymore. If this Gilgamesh project really takes off, if we get Dr. Frankenstein piggybacking on it to engineer not just bodies, but minds, consciousness itself.
Okay.
Then the biggest question we face, the one that kind of dwarfs all our current arguments about politics or economics, it isn't just what do we want to become?
What is it then?
It's potentially much deeper.
Yeah.
If we gain the power to engineer our own desires, our own wants, the real question becomes, what do we want to want?
Wow.
If we can design our own motivations, what kind of motivation should we design? What kind of being should we choose to want to be?
Yeah.
That's the ultimate frontier, isn't it?
Yeah.